Greetings, flat earthers and realists alike, and globalings, if there are any globalings watching. I'm just waiting for Google to stop messing with my whole shebang. So I'm waiting for the stream to start and try to catch me out. It doesn't appear to be starting. I hope you're all hearing this. I think I might have to restart. Jose Meza, or Mesa. Saludos, greetings. For some reason, will somebody type X in the chat if you can hear me? Because my browser isn't playing the thing. Zproxy, how are you? Okay, thank you. Rod James, thank you. Okay. I'm going to have to refresh this because otherwise I will not know when the stream is interfered with. So just bear with me a second. Just bear with me. Harman Walker, you ask why the labeling of people in the earlier hangout. Okay, let me see where I am. Why? Oh, because as humans, we tend to label ourselves like everybody does. I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm a flat earther, I'm a realist, I'm a globe believer, whatever it is. And people also, okay, here I have it. And people also label themselves according to their religions. So I thought I would just kind of poke at that a little bit. Just because we're all human beings having this experience about being a living, walking human being. And some people kind of forget. You know, they think that they're not really a walking, living human being. They think they're only a spirit of God working for his goals. It's like, I don't think the spirit of God needs people to work for his goals. And I don't think God is a he. Anyway, so there you go. It looks like everything is working fine. Greetings, everybody in the chat. Let me put it back to live chat. Okay. So this is Professor Stick Goes Back to School. So I'm going to do some screen sharing. And this is not going to be a long one because I made myself some baked potatoes. Carbs. And I want to eat them before they go cold. I turned off the oven. They're still in the oven. I can reheat them, of course, but you know. Anyway, I don't want this to be a very long one. I want to have a nice chilled evening watching some comedy. Okay, so first, let's remember, okay, I'm going to play, I'll tell you what, I'll go through the pages I have, okay? I have this video, okay? Brainiac, do heavy objects fall faster than light objects? Question mark. Aristotle versus Galileo. Okay, so we'll watch this. And this is to remind people, because the globe earthers are very good at surreptitiously shifting and then never mentioning again. Let's remember that the argument from the globe earthers has always been that objects, regardless of their weight, fall at the same rate. Okay, then they say, oh well, air resistance comes in and no. Let's make them rods. Okay, let's make them rods of different weights and drop them, see what happens. So we're going to play this where we can see, I play it with some volume, okay, where we can see that the argument has been until now that all objects, regardless of weight, see the question mark, do heavy objects fall faster than light objects? So Aristotle, the philosopher, said light objects fall slower than heavy objects. Globe earther said, no, they don't. They both fall at the same rate. And then it turns out neither of them were actually right. So I'm going to play this again. And again, I'm going to thank Georgia Smith for this find. Okay. Then we're going to listen to Professor Stick, who very kindly, for his viewers, portrays things like emotions in the simplest possible way so that his viewers can keep up with, are they supposed to be agreeing, disagreeing, quizzical, angry, puzzled? With this simplify think with nothing in the background, because that might be distracting to them. Okay, easily distracted people. Okay, so Globlings. Now, then we're going to correct him on his use of the word diminish. And then we're going to go into Archimedes and the eureka moment. And I'm just going to show this now, and then I'm going to close this because I think it's going to be using resources. This is called aquacalc.com, where you can see how much various different things, what the weight or mass. Yes, that's right. They are interchangeable, you know. How much each thing displaces, how much water it displaces. Okay, so I have here 1 cubic meter of lead. Kilograms, 11,342. And you can change it, and I have done to aluminium, 2,699, and lithium, 534. Okay, so I'm going to close this because of resources, and now go back here. We're going to play this, and I'm going to have to watch my stream to make sure Google doesn't jump in and start saying, no, stop showing this. You're embarrassing us. So here we go. That, by the way, is an iron ball and a football. The iron ball landed much sooner, much earlier than the football. Okay, just play it again. Just a second. Okay, so iron ball and football. There you go. Now, the Globling, both of them are Globlings, by the way, but, well, one of them, Vic Reeves, he has a degree in philosophy, but never mind that. Turned out the heaviest object landed first, so they then go on to compare with 2 heavy objects, because they say, well, what happened was this. Air resistance kicked in with the light thing, like the ball. Air resistance kicked in. The other thing that had roughly the same size, air resistance did not kick in. So it looks like air resistance is about as arbitrary as gravity. So let me move this to the right point. I'm going to pause. So this is a wheel. Let me quieten. A heavy wheel and a car, because that's funny. See? Now, what they're going to do is they're going to winch these up, and you're going to see as they winch them up that when they get to the top, just before they release them, the wheel here is in line with the front wing of the car. When they land, the wheel is in line with the door. That means the car fell faster than the wheel. Okay, so let me see if we can have a better shot. They did an excellent job of cutting. And pause. Can you see how the wheel is in line with the front wing of the car? Okay. What's going to happen? The engine of the car is in the front, and that's going to fall faster than the back of the car, which is lighter. Also, it's more aerodynamic that way. And this is going to drag and lag behind the car. If this was a much longer drop, the car would have hit the ground much sooner than the wheel, but this is a relative, it's only 56-meter drop. So watch. See, in line with the front wing of the car, just about the wheel arch. Oh, let me pause it a little bit further back, because you have the Globling silly boob. Oh, dagnabbit, nearly. Already celebrating. He's already celebrating. They haven't hit the ground, but he's already celebrating. So no matter what happened, he was going to celebrate. And there. Here's the wheel. Here's the door. And here's the... Oh, wait. Somebody told me that with pause... Oh, yes. That you can do 1 frame at a time. Here, thank you very much. I forget who it was, but thank you. With comma and full stop, you can move 1 frame at a time. Here we are. Here's a wheel, and here's the front wing. See, just here. See how it's lagging behind? So let's go. Oh, now it's closer to the wind. Let's do slow. Oh, they cut. Let's go. We can't see, but it's lagging behind the car. And the guy celebrates. Oh, now it's nearer the back of the car. Let's go. And you can't see much because of, well, better. Look at the guy celebrating. He's just been disproven with 2 objects. The third one also disproves him. Wait, I'm going to do it slowly. The third also disproves him, but you know, we know how Globlings can be. Yeah, Globe. That simpleton. Anyway, so here's the replay. Oh, they caught. Oh, what a shame that they didn't keep it, huh? But let's continue. See? Let's continue. And here, see how this is the front wing where the wheel was? And this has been shown before, by the way, by many different flat earthers. Look how far behind the wheel, the large wheel, has lagged. The guy still celebrated, you know, the dim-dim. He still celebrated as if they hit the ground at the same time, but they didn't, because you can see, well, first the car hit the ground. In fact, let's go to the moment of impact. Continue. There you go. There's a moment of impact. The wheel hasn't hit the ground yet, see? That's not, well, same rate. So this is for Professor Stick. Close this. Also for all the flat earthers who say density and buoyancy instead of actually thinking about the world and checking. So if you were to take that and say, therefore, heavier falls faster, because that's what it appears to have been in that example. The ball fell faster, the iron ball fell faster than the football. The car fell faster than the wheel. Now we're going to look at these objects. This is from the video, Einstein is wrong. Drop experiment. Fall experiment. Bremen. We are going to discuss some of the critiques of this, okay? So we'll discuss them. And we'll see that they're not valid, but never mind that. Okay, here we go. I'm going to play it real time. Here we have, well, at the top, here, I'll do it like this so we can see. This is lithium. This is much, much lighter than carbon or lead. Okay, here's lead. And here's aluminium. Okay, so let's see how things fall. Oh, look. It looks like the lightest thing is falling slower than some of the other things, but the heaviest thing is also falling slower than some of the other things. So let's carry on. And then it seems like, I'm going to go back to the start. It seems like the heavier thing, its drop is increasingly decelerating. So watch. You can look at the lines. Now it's on this black line, and the bottom of the lithium is there too. Oh, nearly reached the next line. And okay. See, now it's kind of halfway up. So this has fallen slower than the lithium, even though both lithium and lead have fallen slower than carbon, beryllium, boron, aluminium, and iron. So it looks like it's not quite so intuitive, this whole things falling. Oh, 1 second. One sec. Just replying to a message. Okay, so we see from this, which I'm going to play again. Remember, Globalings, if you haven't seen this before, what you're seeing is the start of this capsule falling at free fall in the drop tower in Bremen, the ZARM Institute. So you're watching free fall. When these things start going up the screen, they're all in free fall. The capsule itself is aluminium. There's aluminium inside it too. And there's carbon, and well, you can see there. Okay. So free fall, it looks like not quite so intuitive. Okay, so Aristotle was wrong. The lead does not fall much faster than the lighter things. Okay, so both Aristotle and Galileo were wrong. Now, just to cover the objections. The objections from the physicists, the gravitational physicists, okay, ZARM, whose job is on the line if everybody finds out about this footage, they said, no, it's not really that the objects are falling at different rates. That goes against Einstein's gravitational theory. And if that's wrong, then the rest of our cosmology is wrong too. We either have to tweak all of the numbers, and that will be a big pain in the bum, or the entire model is wrong. So one or the other. And people probably won't believe us if we just tweak the math. So what the physicists there said, the gravitational physicists there said, is like, no, this is an effect caused by some contraction going on. Probably like, you know, if the catapult was a rim and it was pushing up the sides, but not the center, okay? And then there was like a recoil, and it doesn't work. No, that objection doesn't work. So in terms of the objections, that's it. That's a sum total, okay? But to verify whether there's suspicions that there's some kind of inertial flexing propulsion going on, which is propelling the the lithium on the left and the lead on the right and the carbon in the center, okay? Then to see whether that's right, all they would have to do is repeat the test, but this time put, say, the lithium here maybe, and the lead here, and do the same thing again. Now, if they do the same thing again and you have the same situation going on, then all of the objections about the flexing boingy capsule are wrong. They're not moot, they're wrong, because moot means deserving of further argument, okay? They're not moot, they're wrong. So when they went to do this experiment again and place the lead here, and I'm joking, they never went to do this experiment again with the lead here and the lithium here. Why not? Because if they had done the test and there was video evidence, it would mean conclusively that Dr. Zaz, who conducted this experiment, is right. So they cannot have that. Up to now, all he has is this. And this, they can persuade the dim Globalings like Professor Stick that this kind of thing is just an anomaly. And they actually use the word anomaly in their dismissal, okay? Instead of saying, we've repeated it, moved the elements around, and have proven that it's this catapulting system that causes this motion. So instead, no, we banned it. They have banned doing this test again. That's right. You can drop all kinds of stuff in that tower as long as you don't replicate this test or anything that could be considered as a replication of this test. For instance, if you wanted to drop the capsule with only iron and lead. No, can't do that. Any of these? No, can't do it. Sorry, not allowed policy. That's what. So I'm going to close that. And we're going to go into Professor Stick, who I said, you know, we have to value his genius at using an image, you know, to retain the attention of the globelings, okay, and kind of guide them a bit through what's being said with the minimum amount of distractions. So we're going to play some of this. I'm pretty sure he won't give a copyright strike because he uses other people's videos like Mr. Thrive and Survive. And so, you know, all's fair in love and war. So let's go.
Because the sound uses air to propagate. So
I should say, sorry. This is about the Doppler effect and how Doppler effects, which is something, by the way, that I pointed out like 3 years ago. The Doppler effect, or the lack thereof, when a person is stood maybe half a mile away from a very loud speaker to his east and half a mile away from a very loud speaker to his west, the lack of Doppler effect says, well, we're not rotating. And what Professor Stick's going to do is he's going to play hopscotch with different ideas and different theories. And I'm going to do, with a very simple drawing, not a rebuttal, refutation of his arguments. So, and a confirmation of Mr. Thrive and Survives.
There are certain principles and properties that just can't be changed.
You know, let's think of it this way. Sound waves require a medium to travel. In this case,
that's right. So in my drawing, I have a medium in which waves can travel.
It's air. Sound is basically a compression of air that travels as a wave away from the source. The air
Great theory. Carry on.
The atmosphere is part of the Earth. When the Earth spins, the air spins with it. Otherwise,
that's right. Oh, well, wait. I won't do so much cutting. Let's just listen to him, because now he's going to give us an otherwise. You know, so because when the Earth is spinning, so is the air. The air spins with the Earth. Otherwise, we'd have incredibly high winds. Have you not heard of the Coriolis effect? Well, never mind. We're not talking Coriolis effect now. We're talking something different. Okay, let's continue.
To travel. In this case, it is air. Sound is basically a compression of air that travels as a wave away from the source. The air within the atmosphere is part of the Earth. When the Earth spins, the air spins with it. Otherwise, we would have devastating winds that would destroy everything. Okay, because the air is...
Oh, wait. What about the high winds in the south and the north that go eastwards faster than the rotation of the Earth? That kind of poo-poos your theory, but let's continue.
Along with the Earth, that means sound cannot lag behind the Earth's spin because the sound uses air to propagate. So as long as the air isn't lagging behind the Earth's spin, neither will sound. And you don't feel any wind when you're sitting in a car with its windows rolled up, do you?
So here's a great example. Instead of testing with, say, very long trains that travel very fast and speak at one end and at the other end, or something to see whether the concept is true, let's make it a car. Let's say a car.
Why wouldn't it be the same with Earth?
Look, notice the frowny face for his viewers. He's like, now they know that you're supposed to disagree.
So if you're moving away from something at 800 miles per hour and it's traveling towards you at 790 some miles per hour, it will never catch you, will you? Well, you might get it on the other side of the Earth, but I think the sound would be too diminished by that time.
Wow.
Anyway, just wanted to show you how the Doppler effect proves that the Earth is not spinning.
I hope you realize that your argument has very little to do with the Doppler effect. The Doppler effect talks about the apparent change in frequency of a wave for the observer due to relative motion. You were talking...
No, it doesn't. It's not apparent change. It's real change. Like a decibel meter would detect it. It's not subjective to the ear of the human. It's not an apparent thing. It's not of a subjective phenomenon. It's an objective phenomenon. Never mind.
The absolute velocity of a sound wave in comparison to the Earth's spinning speed. Very different things.
Henry
see that? Because the argument is, wait, if a sound propagates like the theory and the Earth is rotating like the theory, then there must be necessarily this Doppler effect. There isn't. Therefore, we have to say, like Professor Stick just did, they're unrelated.
Be perplexed. He knows he's right. He can totally trash the rest of the education he was holding on to. He now realizes that things, even that science came up with that were correct, prove that the Earth does not move. The Doppler effect. See if anyone can disprove that one.
Nice of you to cherry pick some parts of science you like while completely denying other parts of it. But then again,
says Mr. Projection. But let's continue.
flat earthers aren't the only ones who do this. Why did you even have to create this stupid Henry character? It hardly adds to your video at all, and it seems
This person talking has just said, why did you even produce the stupid Henry character? Who's the stupid Henry character? This is the stupid Henry character. All right, okay. Because it hardly adds to the video. Okay. I'm going to say this through a character that I made that hardly adds to the video. Oh, okay. Let's continue.
parts of it. But then again, flat earthers aren't the only ones who do this. Why did you even have to create this stupid Henry character? It hardly adds to your video at all, and it seems to be wasting everyone's time. Anyway, before I end this video...
Hypocrisy alert. But never mind.
I do want to bring up an observation that supports a round Earth that was mentioned by Vsauce, and this is the Eötvös effect. This is the fact that...
The Eötvös effect. This is the fact that, and here comes something that's not a fact,
become lighter and heavier depending on its movement eastward or westwards on the Earth. When moving east, the object increases its centrifugal speed, so it is able to escape the Earth's gravity just a bit and becomes slightly lighter. While moving west, it has the opposite effect and the object becomes slightly heavier. This effect is only possible because the Earth is spinning counterclockwise when viewed from above. On a stationary flat Earth, this would not happen at all. I'd like to see you flat Earthers debunk that one. And this time, try...
Okay. Let's bear in mind this. The Eötvös effect also says the Earth rotating towards you makes you have to aim high on a target, and if you're facing the other way and the target is rolling away, kind of from you, but not from you, but just then you have to aim low. That's right. That's the Eötvös effect. Okay, but never mind that.
More than just it's fake, all right? Cool. Anyway, that's my time. Thank you to Fireshard for being the top tier patron.
Okay, so I'm going to go back. Here, let's go over this again. His Eötvös effect. So let's check this thing and see whether...
Why did you even have to...
Let's check the Eötvös effect, or his interpretation of it, and see whether it's something that's actually verifiable.
Observation that supports a round Earth that was mentioned by Vsauce, and this is the Eötvös effect. This is the fact that objects become lighter and heavier.
Okay, fact. This is a fact that objects become lighter and heavier depending on which way they're going round the spinning globe. Can we test this? If you test it and you show otherwise, we'll not let you repeat it. You know, like with the universal freefall.
On its movement eastward or westwards on the Earth. When moving east, the object increases its centrifugal speed, so it is able to escape the Earth's gravity just a bit and becomes slightly lighter. While moving west, it has the opposite effect and the object becomes slightly heavier. This effect is only possible because the Earth is spinning counterclockwise when viewed from above. On a state...
Now, I'm going to rewind to a point earlier. He just said, this happens because the Earth is spinning counterclockwise when viewed from above. Does this been counterclockwise when viewed from above the North Pole? Because this is being viewed from above the Antarctic Circle. See how that's Australia? Oh, just thought I'd nitpick that, because he does go into nitpicking, and I'm going to try and find it now.
Okay, before I actually debunk that, I want to make a correction to your own argument. You're not supposed to say the Doppler effect becomes diminished. You're supposed to say the observer is moving away faster than the speed of sound. Of course. Now,
this is called a strawman argument, where he's basically correcting something that doesn't need correcting, and by doing that, shifting to addressing a different point. I'm going to show this with a drawing. Rich, Thrive and Survive, Mr. Thrive and Survive is pointing something out that's very true. Now, he's saying if the Earth was rotating, there would be a diminishing to the stability of the sound. You know, whether the object was to your east or to your west, there would be a diminishing to the constancy. Okay? And Mr. Stick...
Then they are traveling towards him.
Okay, before I actually debunk that, I want to make a correction to your own argument. You're not supposed to say the Doppler effect becomes diminished.
You're not supposed to say it becomes diminished. It's like, yes, that's literally what he's doing. What do you mean? You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to check if things fall at free fall, at universal free fall.
To say the observer is moving away faster than the speed of sound. Of course, this isn't true, but I don't know how you could fuck up your own argument like this. I'm kind of disappointed because I actually thought you had a grasp on what the Doppler effect is, but I guess that's a little too much to expect from a flat earther. When you say the Doppler effect is diminished, that means there is little to no Doppler effect that is affecting the viewpoint of the observer, which means...
So here's a word salady rewriting of history. Not word salad, a rewriting of history. I'm going to replay it. He's now going to tell people what diminish means.
You had a grasp on what the Doppler effect is, but I guess that's a little too much to expect from a flat earther. When you say the Doppler effect is diminished, that means there is little to no Doppler effect that is affecting.
No, diminished just means made less. Here's the meaning of diminished. Diminished definition: to reduce or be reduced in size or importance. To reduce or be reduced in size or importance, to reduce or be reduced in size, importance, or value, like volume, like in effect, not eliminated. I think Mr. Stick has confused the word diminish with eliminate.
The viewpoint of the observer, which means there would be no relative motion between the two objects. That's actually kind of the opposite of the argument you're trying to make. But then again...
See what he just did? He said, I don't think you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do this other thing. And that's the opposite of what you're actually doing. So let's stop all this silliness and close this and close this and stop screen sharing. So I can show you my lovely drawing that proves Mr. Rich Thrive and Survive and myself and the other flat earthers who've made this argument right with logic and reason, and it could be tested, but obviously not with scientific academies or universities, because if you tested it and it proved that what we're saying is right, and you needed to like retest it to peer review, they simply wouldn't allow the peer review. Here you are. Look, take a screen grab, and then I will explain. Here's a ship. This is playing the role of the thing that's emitting waves. Okay, here are waves. Now, let me show you a little bit better. Here. See these things? These things here and here, and here and here. They're wave makers. That's right. They make waves. Now, this is the medium, and this is a medium. That would be water. This is moving away that way whilst making waves. Okay? And here's a little surfer holding onto a pole. A pole. Not a string, not a rope. A pole. He's holding onto a pole, and he's keeping the same distance from this continuously. And as he goes that way, he has to go over all of these waves. Then the faster this goes, the faster he has to go over those waves. See? As in, what's it called? Doppler effect. Now here's the same situation, but moving, well, away. Can you see how it says source here and the arrow's pointing that way? Okay, so this would be the ship with the wave makers moving this way, but faster than the waves are propagating, which is the whole point. This guy here on his little surfboard thing, at the end of the pole, okay, constant distance, he's not having to go over any waves that have been emitted by this ship. Why not? Doppler effect, that's why. But this doesn't, this is what should be happening in the real world with sound, and not ships, but speakers, and east and west. You dim. Okay, now I'm going to screen share one more time. And because I think this is important. The equivalency and the shifting of targets and the no longer mentioning, and goes to over the line, and the transitioning from one topic which was always maintained to no longer whispering that topic and moving on to a different topic and discussing that topic as if that new topic was the one that had always been discussed. Okay, rewriting history. So objects are supposed to fall at the same rate in a vacuum. It's like, no, they're supposed to fall at the same rate regardless of the vacuum. Not in a vacuum, regardless of the vacuum in the real world. They're supposed to fall at the same rate, but then air resistance kicks in unless what you're dropping is a feather and a hammer. And at that short distance, they both fall at the same rate too. I'll find a video and show that, okay? And what's happening right now is the physicists and the people who argue for the globe are dropping points that are false, like things of different weight falling at the same time. No, that's false. But how do they fall? Is it always heavier one falls faster? Because if not, then what the heck? And it turns out it's not always heavier objects falls faster. That's very peculiar. That really says you haven't got a clue what you've been looking at for the past 500 years. So we're going to go into this. And this is for the people who say you can't equivalate between mass and weight. Like, okay, let's look at Archimedes. And for the flat earthers who can't deal with reality and say things like, Archimedes never existed, neither did Tesla, neither did Yoda, neither did your own granddad. Okay, so Archimedes and his eureka moment. I'm going to just start from here. When I got into the tub, Archimedes reasoned, my body displaced a lot of water. Now there must be a relationship between my volume and the volume of water that my body displaced. Because if I weren't so big, less water would have spilled on my floor. Okay. Archimedes questioned, what if he put the crown in water? So what is this? I'm going to go back and read the preamble to all of this. But I'm not going to read the whole thing. Okay, so right. Right, so here. After gaining the royal power, King Hieron II of Syracuse in Sicily gave a goldsmith a bar of gold to make it into a crown. After Goldsmith delivered the pure gold crown to the king was suspicious. The king suspected that the goldsmith had cheated him. The king thought the goldsmith had mixed some of the gold for the cheaper silver. In other words, made an alloy, while keeping the leftover gold. Ooh, that despicable goldsmith. However, the king had no way of knowing or proving his suspicions. So he asked Archimedes to find out whether the crown was made from pure gold without damaging the crown. One point they've left out, which is this. Archimedes was well known for being a genius. And what's his name? Where's the name of the king? I've lost the name of the king. Hieron II kind of inherited Archimedes. Wasn't very impressed with Archimedes, so he wanted to kill Archimedes. He didn't like somebody being so fabled and revered as Archimedes. So he said to Archimedes, hey, I think the goldsmith has stolen some of my gold. I'm charging you with developing a way of me figuring out, or anyone figuring out, whether that has indeed been the case. And if you don't, I will cut your head off. Okay? So that's why the eureka. Otherwise, Archimedes would have gone, oh, that's interesting. I think I figured it out. Hey, dude. Yeah, here you are. The eureka is because of the stress. Okay? Okay. So Archimedes found out whether the crown was made from pure gold without damaging the crown. He told the king he would need a few days to think about it. One day, while he was concentrating about this problem, he decided to take a bath in a tub full of water. He immediately noticed that the water splashed out of his bathtub onto the floor the moment he stepped into it. Well, this sounds a little bit silly because that means the bath was filled right up to the top. Why would somebody do that? Anyway, and the more he stepped into the tub, even more water got displaced out of the tub. He realized that he had made a real mess. But that mess triggered an idea that would help solve the king's dilemma. When I got into the tub, Archimedes reasoned, my body displaced a lot of water. Now there must be a relationship between my volume and the volume of water that my body displaced. Because if I weren't so big, less water would have been spilled on my floor. Archimedes questioned, what if he put the crown in water? How much water would it displace? And could he apply this to prove that the crown was made of pure gold? He realized that the crown's density was the key. Archimedes already knew that gold was denser than silver, meaning heavier. He first took a piece of gold and a piece of silver with exact the same mass, as in weight. He dropped the gold into a bowl filled to the brim with water and measured the volume of water that spilled out. Then he did the same with a piece of silver. Although both metals had the same mass, aka weight, the silver had a larger volume. Therefore, it displaced more water than did the gold. That's because the silver was less dense than gold, takes up more space. So he realized that if a certain amount of silver had been substituted for the same amount of gold, the crown would occupy a larger space compared to an identical amount of pure gold. He then reasoned that if the goldsmith had indeed, apologies, there's a double had there, had indeed made a crown of pure gold, then the volume displaced should be the same as that of a bar of pure gold of the same mass or weight. See an animation here? No thanks. Now it was time to check out the crown. To find out the crown's volume, Archimedes immersed the crown in a bucket filled with water to the brim and measured the volume of the spilled water. Then he took a bar of pure gold of the same weight or mass and compared the volume of spilled water to determine if crown is indeed made of pure gold. Now, pure gold of the same as was given to the blacksmith. Okay, so here's a kilo of gold. Let's compare it with a kilo of gold and compare it with your alloy, if it's an alloy. Surprise, surprise, the numbers were different. The crown displaced more water than the piece of gold. Therefore, the crown's density was less than pure gold. So indeed, the king had been cheated by the goldsmith. You can probably guess as to what happened to the goldsmith. Yes, he was legging it. By the time he saw Archimedes running down the street shouting Eureka, he started packing his bags. Yeah. Okay, so why have I just read that? Because you have these simple misunderstandings with the Globelings, where even though they know that mass and volume and weight are very closely interconnected, you need to separate that to work out calculations. So if you say, look, see that small body that's orbiting at this distance, it must have a density of X because it's orbiting at that distance at that speed. If it was higher density, it would have to be at a different speed. So they have to divorce the two between weight and bulk, and mass. So they do, or weight and volume and mass. So they do. They separate the two. It's like a kilo of gold is a kilo of gold. A kilo of lead is a kilo of lead. The mass of a kilo of lead is the mass of a kilo of lead. That's it. You don't need to know anymore. You don't need to get all confused, and you don't need to. If you do, you end up with people like Professor Stick just completely getting things wrong. Now, I'm going to address, before I go, the question of transitioning from flat Earth to globe, which is going to happen, okay? And this is a question that was put by Over the Line. So, how will we transition between globe and flat? How will that go? If you think of how quickly things are accelerating in terms of knowledge, understanding, and technology, it has been, well, let's say 30 years of internet. Very quick access to, and I say 30 years just loosely, very quick access to information. Before this, there wasn't such quick access to information. So in 30 years, we've gone from relying absolutely on authorities for information, and those who challenged the authorities were just left in the wild. They didn't really amount to much. They became the Rowbottoms of the world, just crying out in the wilderness. But now we have access to information that's very fast. So now people are going, hold on a second, what did you tell us about vaccinations? Or what did you tell us about fluoride? And what did you tell us about all of these things? And they can very quickly find studies saying all of those things that you were told, all of them, they weren't just false, they were the opposite of what's true. So the globe Earth, and that's very quick, in 30 years, okay, 500 years of the globe lie, 30 years of people discovering all kinds of stuff that doesn't go with the zeitgeist, or the common misconception of the world. So, wow, my voice cracked then. So it's been 5 years of YouTube, internet communication, and discussion on the shape of the Earth. Already, so many people going, no, it's not a globe. Look, here's footage that I took, okay? And showing people footage from all over the Earth. They see that, according to the calculations, that should be tens of meters invisible, like beyond the physical curve, like just like way beyond it, not visible. And there it is, visible. And the calculations of the globelings are starting to really fail. So the globelings are starting to hedge their bets and say, oh, it doesn't count over water and things like that, which is literally what they're doing. But we're not buying it. And neither globelings who are looking at the data and going, I think the globe is false. Because let's remember, globe believers or flat earthers were globe believers. That's right. We're people who've left a cult telling you that you're in a cult. And what you guys are doing, you globe believers, you're the equivalent of the Scientologists telling people who have left Scientology, who tried to say, hey, it's a cult. And you, in your globe cult, are saying, you're in a cult, which is what Scientologists do. When people leave Scientology and say, you're in a cult, the Scientologists say, oh, you're infested. You're infested with demons from Xeno and stuff. That's the situation. And unfortunately for you, humor is on our side. Yes, you see, the humor from your side is fearful. The humor from like conspiracy cats and those guys is a fearful humor. The humor from our side isn't fearful. It's kind of like, dude, you can take it or leave it, but, you know, we're just telling you it's wrong. And, you know, maybe look at other things that you think are right. You know, maybe things that are important for your life and the life of your loved ones. Maybe think about that. So, to answer the question of transition, will it be through governments? Will it be through law? Will it be through, which is kind of equivalent to government? Will it be through academia? No. It will be through the masses. This breaks the norm. So, flat Earth breaks the norm. The globe went from a concept pushed by the Vatican, really. Forget Eratosthenes, okay, because he didn't know globe was fake. Sphere or flat, don't know, could be either. And even with 3 wells, could be either. Okay, Mr. deGrasse Tyson, I'm going to show you how with a drawing. Because don't forget, that not everything that Mr. deGrasse Tyson says is true, but not everything he says is also false. So, 3 wells. Angle, angle, angle. Here, same angle. Okay, so trying to get it quickly. Okay, so globe, these are the angles, same angles on a flat. Oh, that would be the sun being kind of round this region. Okay, ish, in that direction, but not actually there because it's like a rainbow. It doesn't actually have a location. And that's with 3. You still can't determine it with 3, Mr. deGrasse Tyson. So, we went from flat to the authority hierarchy being the Vatican pushing the globe. That's what happened. You can all pretend it didn't. That's what happened. You're pushing something that was given to you by the Vatican, globe believers. That's right. Einstein was given to you by the Vatican too. So the Vatican gave you the globe and you believed it, and they gave you the globe through authority and education. Okay, that's how, after 500 years of killing and torturing people who disagreed with the Vatican, after that, of literally burning people alive in the town centre and everybody going, and including children, of course, after 500 years or so of that, when the population was nicely traumatized, like, it's a globe, by the way, and you couldn't say don't believe it because then you'd be tortured. And the fear that you globelings have comes from that torture. That fear from the torture that the Vatican put in your DNA, that's the fear by which you fear flat Earth. It's not going to be the same system that brings truth to the world. So that system was authority through education and law. Okay, the law said you can't doubt the authority or we kill you, literally. And education was like, this is the thing that you can't doubt. Okay, so it came from the Vatican through education and law. Remove the Vatican and replace it with governments, individual governments. It's not going to be the same story of government through education and law. No, it's going to be the opposite. So people, like with the cannabis industry, people saying, no, we're not obeying you. And slowly the law being changed because people are not obeying them, and it's a bit embarrassing. And then academia, and then the authorities. Okay, the authorities having already been softened by the change of the law. That's how it's going to go. It's going to go from the people through the disobeying of laws, as in you don't talk flat Earth, or you don't discuss these things, or you don't doubt academia. By the way, the same academia that is now telling academics that pedophilia is fine. It's fine, actually. It's just some kind of strange, perverted religious proclivity that makes you think that there's something wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. That's what they're trying to tell you. In fact, not trying to tell, that's literally what they're telling you. I said this before, and globalists did not like this. Your side, the globaling side, is saying there's nothing wrong with pedophilia. If that's not a line that has been crossed that tells you there's something wrong with the people who are saying these things. They're saying things that are not true. There is something wrong with pedophilia. I'll make it very simple. An 8-year-old girl can't give birth without probably dying. So when you look in the 16, 17, earlier, and you see, oh, look at how many mothers died in childbirth. Look at the age of the mothers. And these mothers were married in the church. These children were married in the church. The same guys I told you the globe. to adult men who raped them, made them pregnant, and then they died. See how that goes? And your academia is telling you that's all right. They're also telling you it's all right if you want to pretend that you're a woman. We'll all make everyone pretend that you're a woman too. Your side, Globelings. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was still a Globling, and I'm saying this right now, thinking, because, by the way, intelligent people can contemplate an idea without accepting it. Okay, so I'm not going to imagine being a Globling. I know all of the arguments. I know arguments. I put arguments that debunk certain silliness from the flat earth. Okay, so I can debunk all kinds of stuff. So I'm now playing the role of the Globling. And I'm going, whoa, transgender's fine. This little half-wit drag queen boy likes turning men on and actually says that. And men like watching this little boy drag queen. And that's all fine because it's protected by gays and lesbians. And women can pretend to be men and men can pretend to be women. And they can go to prisons and rape people and toilets and abuse children. And now it's okay for people to be pedophiles, both men and women. Because, by the way, let's not forget, most violent things are committed by men, but also some women. They're always a minority with violence, but with the sexual thing, it's not always quite the case, is it? There have been more women pedophiles, teachers, than men. Obviously, a lot more male pedophile preachers, not teachers. But we can't forget there are messed up women too. So it's not just a male-only thing. Let's not be sexist, okay, or misandrist, or misogynist. Women, pedophiles. Men, pedophiles. Now you have, luckily for the pedophiles, women saying it's all right, pedophilia. Because if it was a dude, he would have been stoned. That's right. If an academic came out who was male and was saying it's all right, pedophilia is fine. It's just a choice, the same as sexuality, same as gender. He would have been stoned, but it's a woman. But remember, women can be pedophiles too. So, and just so you know, mothers out there with children who go to parks and, you know, you always explain to the children about strangers, always a man. The children who are taken from parks are taken from parks by women. That's right, it's women. I've lost my puppy, can you help me? That's right. So the 3 or 4 children, they all feel brave. They're helping the woman. But then they all drop off one by one. And then the woman takes that last child and nobody bats an eyelid because it's a woman with a child. The children who are trafficked through the airways are trafficked with female passengers, not male. Okay, so it's the female academics who are making Globelings think, actually, maybe we should reconsider our stance on pedophilia. And if you're a Globling and you're watching this and that's uncomfortable for you, that is your camp. It's your camp. You can't pretend it's the flat earth camp. It's your camp that's doing that. What else is your camp lying to you about? So to wrap up and answer the question, is the transition is not going to come from the top down. Marijuana was illegal all over the place, slowly stopped being illegal, but it stopped being illegal because people started to just not obey the law. And I don't mean like people were just no longer going to prison. It's like, no, it's just too many people who are doing it. You can't control too many people doing too small amounts to make it viable to prosecute everyone. This guy's growing 3 plants and this guy 2. And now those guys who are carrying like half a kilo of hashish from Colombia, those guys, you know, maybe put those guys in jail. But these guys, no. And slowly it changed because of the masses. And this flat earth thing is a thing because of the masses. The reason Google is controlling so much on YouTube is because they don't want the masses to escalate much faster, because some of the people in the masses are crackpots halfwits, and when they become flat earthers, they want to do things like set stuff on fire. So let's appeal to the non-crackpot globelings who will become flat earthers, who will not set things on fire. That's my suggestion. And with that, I'm going to say good night, and thank you very much for watching. Ciao.